My name is Horinek and I'm a junior at Buffalo High School. When I was roughly 9 years old, my family and I went to our local sale barn for the monthly goat and sheep sale. I learned at a very young age to sit very still at a sale barn. I watched my dad with anticipation as each animal walked through the doors and into the ring. When he would start to bid on a goat or a sheep, excitement would build up inside of me. I was so anxious to bring home a new herd member. Each bid would get higher and higher. I could see my dad brainstorming how much my mom was going to let him spend. As each animal came into the ring, my dad would look them over from head to tail. He would get a glowing smile on his face if it was a good, healthy animal that he wanted. If not, he would just sit back, listen to the auctioneer carry on, and wait patiently for the next stop. One little bottle lamb came bouncing into the ring. My dad took a quick look and almost immediately began bidding on him. The bids climbed higher and higher. My dad eventually outbid everyone. I was beyond excited that we were taking a new herd member home, but I was even more excited when the men in the ring handed the little baby through the gate to my dad with a bottle. Next thing I knew, my dad was handing the baby to me. I quickly began feeding him the bottle. That is when we became best friends and he received the name Cookie. He slept on my lap for the remainder of the auction. When we got home, we had to prepare a warm place for him to sleep. The next morning, and every morning after that, I got up bright and early to feed my new best friend. I learned how to care for him and how his needs should come before my own. At a very young age, I was exposed to many aspects of not just the sheep industry, but the farming industry too. Everything from purchasing livestock, caring for livestock, and the many unexpected events that come with raising livestock. But it wasn't until I was responsible for my own lamb that I realized the hard work that the everyday farmer had to put in. Sure, at 9 years old, I wasn't doing everything that a career farmer was doing, but I was doing a lot for a 9-year-old. My best friend Cookie taught me a lot about the sheep industry and confirmed these two things. First, he confirmed that if you take care of sheep, then they can become your best friend. Every morning, even if I didn't want to, I got up bright and early to feed him and make sure he had a bucket of fresh water. Secondly, he confirmed a suspicion I had had for my entire life. He confirmed that my dad is crazy. After my dad bought Cookie for me, he went and bought 4 more bottle lambs for my brother and sisters. Who in their right mind buys 5 bottle lambs in less than 24 hours? However, I thank him every day for this decision because his decision led to the beginning of a journey that would last a lifetime. Our herd of sheep continued to grow larger and larger. I began learning more and more about sheep. Little did I know that with owning a sheep, I would learn that people had many misconceptions about the industry I had come to love so much. Misconceptions in the sheep industry usually consist of things related to the health of the sheep. However, misconceptions always have 2 sides. The farmer side is told every day, but rarely ever heard. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, describe the sheep industry as a cruel and bloody industry. A motto that my grandpa and many other farmers live by is the animals eat before I do. That doesn't seem like a very cruel and bloody industry if you ask me. If you go to the PETA website, you will be presented with an abundance of articles on the cruelty of many agricultural industries, including the sheep industry. In research, I found that PETA is taking a firm stand in 2 particular aspects of the sheep industry. The first aspect PETA is taking a stand against in the sheep industry is mulesing. According to their website, when they're still lambs, sheep in Australia, the world's leading exporter in merino wool, are subject to mulesing, a cruel process in which farmers carve skin and flesh from the backsides of animals, often without giving them any painkillers. What PETA doesn't tell people is how this is beneficial to the health of the sheep. Mulesing helps prevent fly strike. Fly strike is caused when eggs are laid on the sheep that hatch into maggots, which will then eat at the flesh of the sheep, practically eating the sheep alive. Farmers manage fly strike in many different ways, one of which is by shearing the sheep. When the sheep is rained on or in conditions where the wool is wet time and time again, the sheep is susceptible to fleece rot, which will then lead to fly strike. The wool is quickly removed from the sheep and treatment is started. The second stance PETA is taking against the sheep industry is the wool industry. PETA's website states, shearers are usually paid by volume and not by the hour, which encourages fast work without any regard for the welfare of the sheep. This hasty and careless shearing leads to frequent injuries and workers use a needle and thread to sew the worst wounds shut, often without any pain relief. Strips of skin and even teats, tails, and ears are often cut or ripped off during shearing. During email exchanges with Ms. Keck, an FFA advisor from Conway, who shears sheep, we discussed how long it takes to shear a sheep. She said a professional will take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes per head, starting with getting their hands on one to letting it go. It takes me about 30 minutes, but I have to put it on a stand. PETA says sheep are cut and wounds are left untreated. According to Ms. Keck, you are likely to nick one fairly often. These nicks are similar to cutting yourself when you shave and do not need any medical attention. In the case you cut one through the entire layer of skin, you should have it evaluated by a vet to prevent serious infection or even death. These types of injuries are extremely rare due to the fact that those who shear sheep have been properly trained and have a love or even a passion for sheep. Speaking from personal experience, farmers care for their animals like they care for their family. Career farmers raise their animals to make a living. They would never jeopardize the safety, well-being, or health of their livestock. Jeopardizing the safety, well-being, or health of their livestock would only hurt the farmer in the long run. All of the sheep I own are hair sheep mixed with wool. The idea of this breed of sheep is that you don't have to shear them, because their hair will naturally fall out when it gets hot, but the little bit of wool they have left on their bodies is enough to keep them warm on the cooler summer nights. However, one sheep I got was mostly wool. He was panting up a storm one day. My dad decided that we needed to shear him so he wouldn't die from a heat stroke. I remember shearing him and thinking that this was going to hurt him, but my dad reassured me that this feels much like a haircut to you and I. The sheep industry all over the United States is currently falling. In 2018, Missouri had 90,000 head of sheep and was ranked 5th in the nation. Nationally, the sheep population slipped by 20,000 to 5.32 million, with 45 fewer breeding lambs and 25,000 more market lambs than there were in 2017. Missouri produced 4,000 fewer lambs in 2017, contributing to the 50,000 drop in production nationwide at 3.2 million. What does the future of the sheep industry look like if misconceptions are heard over the farmers' truths? We are already seeing the effects of misconceptions being heard over the farmers' truths. H&M, Perry Ellis, Hugo Boss, Adidas, Gap Incorporated. What do all of these companies and numerous others have in common? They have all pledged to move away from mulesed wool or have implemented a ban on wool that has been mules. Big companies come with many followers. When large companies start stepping away from the sheep industry, their customers will follow them. The customers will believe the misconceptions they are being fed by their favorite company. Most won't even look into the subject for themselves. Just like that, the sheep industry will slowly fade away. The future of the sheep industry remains in the hands of those who will make their voice heard. The ones who at 9 years old got their first bottle lamb and learned to love the industry that has given so much to them. The future of the sheep industry remains in the thousands of hands of FFA members across the nation. It remains in the hands of the future of agriculture. We are the future of agriculture. Thank you.